So how do you know what position you should play as a volleyball player? How's it going? My name is Coach Ka. I've been coaching volleyball for 16 years now. So when it comes to figuring out what position you should play, I have some pretty good ideas. Now the first thing I want to mention is that it's going to depend on a variety of things. And the first thing is going to be age. My recommendation is if you are 14 years old or younger, you should probably not be specializing in a position just yet. Now I know that when you play club volleyball or travel volleyball at an early age, they like to put you in positions, but just as a general coaching ideology, I think you should learn to play all the positions so that you can acquire all of the skills. When you are a younger athlete, you should be working on your setting, your passing, your hitting, your serving, your defense, your blocking. You should be working on everything so you can learn the game as a whole. Because even if you fast forward and let's say you're a middle hitter in college, the middle hitter that can pass and set is going to be more valuable to their team than the middle hitter who cannot pass and set. So it is in your best interest to learn all of the skills. Now, once you get older, or once you play on more high-level volleyball teams, you are probably going to have to specialize in a specific position. One thing you want to consider is your height. So this is pretty obvious, but if you're like 5'3", you're probably not going to be able to be a middle hitter or an outside hitter. And when it comes to height, the only thing that can really be a disadvantage is being too short. Because even if you're like 6'2", coaches might automatically want to put you in the middle, but you could be a 6'2" outside hitter, you could be a 6'2" setter, you could even be a 6'2" libero. So what I'm saying is if you are taller, then you have more options in terms of what you want to play. Now it's hard for me to determine what kind of height is going to base what position you should play, but I would just basically say that if you are about like 5'6" or under, you're probably not going to be able to play as a hitter, at least on a high level. That being said, as a disclaimer, I believe you can do anything. So like if you are 5'6", you definitely can play at a high level. There are 5'7" hitters that play at the D1 level and professional level, but just know that's going to be harder for you. The next thing after height, honestly, is going to be what you want to play. So what position do you desire to play? What do you wish to play? And what motivates you? I've coached way too many players that are playing a position that they don't want to play, and it just shows in the way they practice and it shows in the way they play. So if you have a certain likeness of a certain position that you want to play because of whatever reason, try to train that position first. After what you want to play, the next thing you want to consider is what you're likely going to be better at based on your natural skills. So like if you naturally have a high vertical, you might be better off as a pin hitter. If you naturally have good communication skills and good vision and high IQ, you might be better off as a setter. And if you're naturally really aggressive at the net and you love blocking, you might want to be a middle hitter. So every player has certain skills and characteristic attributes about them that tailor them more towards one position. And if you don't know exactly what that is, you can ask one of your coaches and they'll likely be able to tell you. So I know that's a little bit of a long answer, but just to kind of recap everything, the first thing is age. If you are younger, you should learn everything. Once you get older, you want to think about your physicality. So that's going to be your height and how athletic you are, and use that to determine what position you might want to play. Tied with that, or maybe even above that, is the position you want to play, the position you desire to play. That's what you're going to be most motivated for, so that's what you want to choose and work towards. And last but not least is what position are you most likely to succeed in based on your physical skills, your technical skills, and like your personality in general. Last thing, just keep in mind your position is not permanent either. It can change. I've played with and coached players that start off as like outsides for like the first half of their career, then they switch to setter. Or I play with setters that switch to libero. So don't put yourselves inside of a box and say, I have to be this position. Be open to changing your mind and be open to playing other positions if that time comes in your career.